Hey guys, you're gonna join me for making granola bars because that's what I'm doing this afternoon. It's hot as balls in my house. I will say that. Florida apparent heat is like 1,000 degrees. So we have decided to install ceiling fans like all over our house. So that's a project we're working on. We went to Home Depot today and got some things, but for the most part, we're just dealing with a floor fan right now. So it is very, very hot. 100 degrees, just about. It's pretty crazy. So I'm making this recipe. I'm going to show you guys what I'm putting in it as I'm putting it in it. And say hi as you're hopping on. Gotta make sure this lines my hand just right. That's not gonna work. Anyways. Hey Brittany. So the first thing I'm putting in here is pecans. I'm preparing this and I'm really kind of slowing down on groceries for the next week because if you are doing the reset with us, then you know that I'm gearing up for going grocery shopping for the reset. Versus just like my regular grocery shopping. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roast some pecans first. Half a cup. That's going to go inside of my... I can't find my half cup, so I'm just going to use half a cup. And hopefully that is correct. I'm going to roast that first. Hey Cody. Hey Kari. Hey JR. Hey Jen. So I'm making this granola bars and the first step is, they came out amazing, my last ones. These you bake. The last ones I made were non-bake, but these I am gonna bake. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm roasting some pecans in the oven, it's 300 for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And then we're gonna go from there. Oof, oven feels super hot. What is up? All right, so while that's cooking, for 10 minutes, go ahead and put 10. We are then gonna mix in a bowl all the other things. Okay. Hi, Angela. I'm making a new recipe of oats. All right, I do have my color-coordinated measuring cups from our nutrition program, so those are really helpful for when you're cooking in general because it's so easy to know what the measurements are. All right, so we are going to need 1.5 cups. So 1.5. Hey Jessica, what is up? Yeah, so that was my Mother's Day gift. Makes iced coffee too, which is like super clutch. Makes the best iced coffee I've actually ever had anywhere. So all I'm doing is putting these ingredients in here. That was 1.5 cups of oats. And then the next one is Rice Crisp cereal. So I found this crispy cinnamon rice. I couldn't find like plain Rice Crisp that I liked. So I got these that have cinnamon in it. And I'm really excited because it adds really nice cinnamon flavor. Hi Caroline, hi Audrey. What's up guys? What is up? Hey Kelsey. Hope that says Kelsey. Hi Davina. So we are going to do 1.25 cups of this. So just pouring this out. I love cinnamon. Cinnamon is like by far my favorite condiment. Like if anybody was like, if I was a condiment, I would be cinnamon. Yeah, so Audrey asked if I was going live today for my Friday fireside chat. I'm just adding 1.25 cup of the Rice Crisps to the oats. I will be going live. As of now, podcasting has gotten complicated. I was trying to do a live podcast show instead of doing YouTube because my stuff is getting censored on YouTube. I've already lost, like they took away my views. They're now starting to take away followers or subscribers as well, which is really frustrating because there's a lot of good content on my YouTube channel and I feel like it's really rude for them to be doing that. So what is going to happen is I now have a podcast on Podbean. So what's gonna happen is the public will now have access to a live podcast stream, which is audio based, but there's still a chat feature in there, so you guys can chat me during the live stream and ask questions and communicate. And the video podcast is gonna go to my Patreon. So that's how that is going to work. Because with the unlisted version of the video, for example, if I mark it as an unlisted video and I only send it to a group of people that's not public on YouTube, I will not get flagged. So that's what's gonna have to happen just so I don't get flagged. It is, am I saying your name right? Quanell? I hope I am. I can hardly read, it's so tiny. I look really close to the phone, but the phone is really far from me, so I hope I said your name right. It is really rude. Hey, Jen. I just feel like, what happened to freedom of speech and, expressing an opinion doesn't exist anymore, I guess. Only if you're like with a certain agenda can you speak your mind. The rest of the time you have to shut up. Okay, just put it down, go wash your hands, and then watch your movie. So the next thing I'm adding is pepita seeds, aka pumpkin seeds. Fourth cup. Just a fourth cup. Fourth cup of that. And again, I'm just mixing everything in this bowl. Everything is going together. Then we're gonna do a fourth cup of, I don't have cranberries, so I'm gonna do raisins instead. But this recipe calls for cranberries, but I ain't have that. And I couldn't find it the one place I went. Oh, okay, I said your name right, cool. Hey, Rafael, what's up? So I'm gonna do a fourth. All right, quick hello and then go back, okay? Back to your movie. We had an agreement here. Otherwise, he would just take over this entire granola bar production. All right, good job.
Macho.
All right, so next is a teaspoon of cinnamon. So again, I just threw a cup of raisins in there. Teaspoon of cinnamon. He's obsessed with this movie Back to Earth or something like that. It's an alien movie on Vudu. And I just love it because I'm really into aliens and so is he. I think it's so great. So we're going to do a teaspoon of cinnamon, although frankly, if you're me, you do more than that because cinnamon is much I am. I'm going to try and answer your questions as I'm going. So literally, you're just pouring everything into here. I think I'm done. So this recipe calls for sea salt. I never salt my recipes just because I feel I can taste salt so easily. I will hardly ever put salt in a recipe unless I'm making like a cake. Then I will. So this is done. You're just gonna mix this all together and just make sure it's all like evenly spread out. It smells amazing. It just smells like straight cinnamon. Yeah, we had an agreement. He was gonna like watch his movies while I did this. He was like, okay. Because otherwise he just takes over the show. And also like with my son, yeah, this is a really good recipe. Hi Brianna. I have ADD, and when my son interrupts me, when anybody interrupts me, it really throws me off track and I get very frustrated. So I have to like make agreements with him when I'm trying to focus explaining something so he doesn't do that because my brain just like freaks out. All right, so this smells amazing. Now the next step is in a tiny saucepan, I'm going to be melting some brown rice syrup and some crunchy peanut butter. You can use almond butter, creamy. I just like the texture of this, so that's why I'm using this. And this is brown rice syrup. This is what's gonna hold it all together, okay? So this is what's actually gonna hold your granola together. And you're gonna use a half cup, hopefully I have enough for a half cup of this. This is a half cup. The yellow container from our food recipe is a half cup. So, Santiago, siéntate por favor. ¿Qué vas a hacer? He's reaching over and I'm afraid he's just gonna like bust his tail because our countertop, like the back of our couch goes to the countertop. I'm always freaked out that he's gonna like climb there and then just fall. So I like hardly have half a cup. I have like almost exactly half a cup right now. So I'm like sweating this recipe right now. I'm like, oh. So a lot of people, I found this in the baking aisle of Sprouts Market. I don't know if you guys have a Sprouts where you are, but that's where I found this. I didn't even know brown rice syrup was a thing, but people who work at the market should know about it. It seems like a pretty common recipe, especially in all the vegan recipe, like vegan baked desserts that I've made where they need like a sticky element. It's usually brown rice syrup or flax. That's what they're using. And so this recipe that I'm talking about right now came from a book called Oh She Glows, which is my favorite vegan book. It's the one book I can say I've made every single recipe in, and every single recipe is amazing. You really cannot go wrong with this recipe. And I'm really into making my own stuff because you know what's going in it. You know, like the sugar content of some of these bars and stuff you buy, like you just never know. So that's why I prefer to make my own stuff. So it's a half cup of that, and then it's gonna be a 4th cup of peanut butter. So I need to find my 4th cup scoop. I want to make this with almond butter as well. I love peanut butter though. If you can't have peanuts, I understand, but I'm obsessed with it. Okay, you can wait until I'm done. If you dropped it back there, you can wait until I'm done. All right. My hands are like super sticky because I have that brown rice syrup on it. So I have to go wash my hands. I'm like trying to avoid touching stuff with my hands. Come on. All right, I'm gonna put some of this back because I got a little too much, a little too crazy with my 4th cup going in here. So the idea is that you are melting the peanut butter or the almond butter with the brown rice syrup together. So it makes like a syrup. At the end, it makes, and I'll show you guys the texture of it when I'm done with it. I'll turn the camera as well because I have to kind of sit here and babysit this for like a hot second. My kitchen is a mess, by the way, because one thing that you should know about me is I really hate dishes. Like, arch enemy is dishes. So you're gonna see like dishes everywhere because, hey Susan, I detest cleaning dishes. I don't know who likes dishes, but it ain't me, that's for sure. That's one task, I'm like, I'm out. So I tend to like let them pile up, which is not what I should do, and then clean them as, my husband's like, why don't you clean them as you go along? I was like, because I don't have OCD like you, and I literally procrastinate cleaning everything. Okay. So the pecans are beeping because they're done.
Are you okay, guys?
We're gonna take the pecans out. The pecans are like mad toasty. They look like that. And so I'm gonna chop them up a little bit more while this melts. So literally you're melting the almond butter or the peanut butter in the brown rice syrup. And it's gonna turn into a paste
I don't know.
real quick. Santiago, por favor. Por favor. No. Por favor.
Okay.
It turns into a paste pretty fast. And so they're telling you to let it boil a little bit, and then you add the vanilla once it's off the fire. So you don't want to put the vanilla in while it's hot. You want to take it off and then add the vanilla. Nobody likes dishes. I swear that's true, but some people like them. It's weird. And Kari's like, toilets. Like, I hate toilets too. I'm like not a toilet person at all. Chores in general, like since I was a child, I avoided them like the plague. I really do not like chores. Like that's just a thing. One of my biggest goals when I had my practice in Atlanta and I was earning bank because I had all my business and I had all this stuff at the same time. I was like, oh, the first thing I'm gonna do is get someone to clean my house because that was like a dream of mine, and it is amazing. Since we moved here and everybody's in quarantine and locked up, I'm like, well, I guess I have to do chores now, and I'm like, I don't want to do chores. I hate chores. But one of my biggest financial goals was to hire someone to clean. And it was very rewarding when I was able to pay someone to clean my house. That was like highlight of my life. Okay, so I'm gonna chop up these pecans because they need to be a little tinier. I didn't chop them before I roasted them. I roasted them first because they're easier to handle because they're bigger pieces. So that would be my recommendation, is to, yeah girl, getting someone to clean my house, that's always a goal. laundry is like, I'll do my own laundry, but cleaning, I love walking into like a really like immaculately cleaned house.
Oh, no.
And no one cleans them like people who are dedicated to cleaning. Like, they're so freaking good. The people who do that for a living, like, I love you guys so much. You're so detail-oriented. Like, for someone like myself, I'm not a detail-oriented person. I'm a big picture person, so cleaning is very, very difficult for me. I also have distraction ADD, so it's like, I can't focus on a task. So I look at people who clean homes like they're genies, to be honest. Like, you guys are like magical creatures. You have like a very special skill set that I admire tremendously, because I cannot do that. Okay, so I'm just chopping these up real tiny so they can go into that same bowl of all the other things that I was doing.
Brother, come over here.
All right. I love pecans. Those are probably my favorite. Like, peanuts and pecans are my
Oh my
favorite
God,
ones
what happened?
of all the ones.
Take out my Play-Doh.
I love how sweet pecans taste to me. All right, so tiny, tiny chopped. I'm just gonna put it in this very same bowl.
Now I see it.
And they are roasted, so they have this really nice roasty flavor. Mixing this all together again. Woo, this is bubbling way too much. All right, so here's what this ends up looking like. Y'all ready? This happened quick. Oh my gosh, I burned it. So it looks like a paste. Can you guys see that? Like, it looks like a, just like a melty, I guess like a melty peanut butter, but the brown rice syrup gives it a specific texture. And then you're gonna do a teaspoon of vanilla, or in my case, you're just gonna squeeze some vanilla in there and not measure anything, because I don't like to measure too much. All right, so you just mix the vanilla in there. Now it smells like vanilla peanut butter. So good. Oh, thank you. This tattoo took 15 hours. It's very painful, extremely extensive, but 100% worth it. All right, so stirring this in. All right, I wanna make sure I didn't skip any steps. So now in here you have your pecans, your oats, your Rice Krispies, your cranberries, your raisins, your pepita seeds, pecans, I already said that. All right, so now we're just gonna pour this syrup thing into that bowl. Pour the whole thing in there. Mind you, the oven was already preheating 300 degrees, and we baked, you know, the pecans in there first, so they would be nice and roasted. So that's already ready to go. All right, so then I use something that's flat. Like, this is like a rice scooper, but I like it because it's flat to mix. You guys can see this process. I'm just mixing it all together at this point. So it's sticky, okay? And it's gonna make sort of like a batter, except we don't have flour in here, so it's not gonna look, hi Abby, hi Leah. It's not gonna look totally like a batter, but it's gonna resemble a batter of some sort. Okay. Make sure it's nice. Like, make sure when you melt the peanut butter too with the brown rice syrup that it's very liquidy, because it's very easy to mix it. I'm making granola bars. These are the ones that you bake though. The last ones I made were not baking ones. Those were like the freezer ones. I'll film myself making those too, so I can have this video up. But so then it looks like this. Here's your final product with all of it mixed together. See how it looks kind of like a batter, but not really. A sticky. Okay. I'm gonna eat this. Okay. And then I wanna make sure I'm doing these steps right, because I'm really OCD about my recipes, like not skipping a step. I don't measure ingredients, but I like steps. All right. So then, oh wait, this one you do not bake. This is also a freezer one. You only use the oven for the pecans. Ah. Okay, so the oven is really just for roasting the pecans. Twist. So then you're gonna put this in my, you can kind of see my prepared pan. It's just like it's a glass pan, but I have parchment paper on it. The parchment is really just so you can take out the bars once they're like frozen to form. It makes it easier. Although the first time I did one of these, I didn't use parchment paper and it was fine. But She recommends using parchment paper, so I found parchment paper. I thought I didn't have any. Turns out I did. So I'm using that. All right. Can you see me? You guys can see me spreading. I can't see because the comments are there, but move it all the way. So all I'm doing is really just spreading it out on this pan. Okay. Spreading it out. Doesn't it smell good? Salty's like, smells so good. So she recommends also using your hands just to make sure that you like tamp it down like real well. But this is pretty flat and easy to tamp with, so you don't have to get your hands all sticky because the brown rice syrup is real sticky. Okay, so you tamp it down. And honestly, within like, I had mine in the freezer maybe 20 minutes. I didn't have it in there a really long time. And then you just cut them out and you make squares and it's awesome. So, all right, let me show you what it looks like. I have a little bit of oat on my spatula, so let me put that back in there. And you really want to make sure that it's compressed real well though, just because when you take the bars out, you don't want them to crumble. So, all right, here's what it looks like on the pan. So now she says to put them in there for 10 minutes in the freezer. I usually leave them a little bit longer than that so they're really firm. And then you can use a pizza roller actually to cut them and make bars. Now if you're gonna store them, she says you can store them up to 2 weeks in the refrigerator or a month in the freezer. She also has you kind of like take them out and individually wrap them and then store them so that's easy to just like grab one as a snack and go. I cut them up into bars and then put them in a Tupperware and put them in the freezer or in the fridge, and then anybody who wants a snack can just go in there and grab one. And when I make my smoothie bowls, a lot of you guys ask me about like, what's my process for the smoothie bowl? I will take one of these bars and just like crumble it and put it over my smoothie bowl or my yogurt bowl, and it's like amazing. You can have it as a snack, your kids can have it as a snack, or you can include it into something you already eat. So I will take some pictures of this and share it on my stories when it's done. All right, you guys have any questions, let me know. Thanks for hanging.